Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and there's a lot of good things happening. So in spite of possible word that you might have gotten otherwise, there is so much to celebrate in this world. So many good things. The good outweighs the bad, and that's what we need to focus on. So if you're new to the Heal Your Hunger Show, this is where you go when you're, stuck in your weight loss efforts, you're frustrated, you feel like there's got to be something I'm missing, or if you feel like a failure, guess what? You're not. What's happening is that you may be an emotional eater, and that was me. I was 50 pounds overweight, and no matter what I tried pills and potions and lotions and diets, and obviously I did other things as well, because when you're digging, as you know, and you're digging and you're digging and digging, you uncover every stone. So I did the psychological, I did self-help, I did a 12-step, I did so many things, and nothing really worked for me until I started addressing emotional eating. And so that's what we do here. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. And you're going to love my guest today. We are recording this live, by the way, from the Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating Facebook group. So this is a free group. Love to have you over there. Just type in Secret Sauce to End Emotional Eating on Facebook, and you'll actually, you just ask to join, and we'll let you in, because we love to have more people in our tribe. And this is really the place you come where you don't have to feel like a pariah because you're powerless over cookies, okay? Especially Girl Scout cookies this time of year. We get it, we've been there, and this is where we get to support each other and really have a real solution to healing your hunger. So on with the show, I want to just say how excited I am to have Michelle and Keith Norris here. They are co-founders of Paleo FX, which is the largest paleo platform and event in the world, and it's been featured all over the place: New York Times, Huffington Post, Men's Health. Everybody knows about Paleo FX who's in the health space. Michelle has been featured on Good Morning San Diego, Good Morning Austin, and many other shows. She's been a featured chef herself on the Paleo Kitchen TV show. And Keith is an elite strength and conditioning specialist and former athlete and military veteran. Thank you for your service, Keith. And he also authors one of the top fitness and personal development blogs in the health and wellness space called Theory to Practice. So welcome, Michelle and Keith. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. Yes, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Tricia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to have you. And, this is a crazy time, right? I just got back from Costa Rica, and the tagline for Costa Rica is Pura Vida, right? And so it's just pure life. And that's what we were doing. We were, having a lot of fun, and it was pure joy. And we were away from the news and from anything about the coronavirus. And I come home and I'm like, what is happening to our world? It's insane. So, fear is a big problem. And of course, for emotional eaters, it's a big thing too. And for event planners, it's a big thing. And I've just been praying for my friends who hold big live events in the health space, because I'm like, I feel their pain. Like, I'm an empath. So I'm like, oh, I just feel the stress and the struggle. And you guys, in the, brilliant, business owners that you are, and really leaders in this whole paleo industry and movement, you guys have moved quickly, and you've rescheduled Paleo FX, and now you have a new date in July, which is totally cool. And I was so excited to have you on, because, paleo has been kind of my way of being for so long, because I find that it's easier not to crave food if I'm not eating breads and grains and those starchy things that turn into sugar that make you crave more sugar. So that's kind of where I come at it. It's not even from a health thing. It's more of a craving thing. And it's easier to be thin too when I'm not eating, bread and stuff like that. So it's been I think before paleo was even a word, that's how I have been able to, by the grace of God, to be thin. So anyway, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here, and really thanks for all you do for the paleo movement.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, so you've rescheduled Paleo FX. Will you tell everybody what Paleo FX is? Because it is the coolest. I went 2 years ago, and it is the coolest event. And everybody who's tuning in, you got to go. I mean, you absolutely have to be a part of this, because if you're into that, health thing, which anybody who listens generally has high health, high HI, health intelligence, like people in my tribe, are very health conscious, and they're trying to, and it's probably why it's so frustrating to be an emotional eater and be so health conscious, because they don't always mesh, it's like, a lot and yet you're eating crap. And so it can be very frustrating. So tell everybody about really what Paleo FX is, because it's such a cool event.
Well, Paleo FX is a 3-day immersion event into the lifestyle of being paleo. And so a lot of people are like, okay, wait a minute, 3 days to talk about paleo? Like, that just doesn't make sense. We're not a nutrition conference. That's not what we're about. We're very much about the lifestyle and actually being fully optimized human beings. And at Paleo FX, we believe in 7 pillars of health. So we believe in physical health, mental health, emotional health, relational health, spiritual health, financial health, and tribal health. And so we believe you have to have all 7 of those to have a very happy, healthy, and optimized human. So we cover everything from, we have probably a little bit of the conferences about the nutrition. You can get all of that on the floor at Paleo FX, which is really awesome. But the majority of it is about how we remove the toxins from our life. And so the toxins, so most people are thinking, oh, we're talking about the toxins in our food. We're talking about the toxins in our food. We're talking about the toxins in the products that we use and we put on our body. We're talking about the products that we use to clean our homes, the things that we feed our animals, our pets. We're also talking about toxic people. And we talk about toxic thoughts. So it's the things that you tell yourself. And of course, with your tribe, that's probably a big part of the emotional eating. Yeah. So these are the things that we cover at Paleo FX. We cover regenerative agriculture, decentralization of markets. We've talked about cryptocurrency, about revamping the education system, the healthcare system into a true, instead of the sick care system that it is, into a true healthcare system. And so we run the gamut across all of those things. And we talk about plant medicines, shamanic practices, breath work. We have all kinds of demonstrations showing people how to do really great exercise and movement in their daily lives. So there's a lot of people that would love to be able to go to the gym, but don't really know what to do and are afraid of hurting themselves. We have people that come and they're experts and they show people how to lift properly so that they don't get hurt, how to do activities to be able to strengthen their muscles, stretching, all types of great things to keep them from injuring themselves.
And we really live by the dictate that, knowledge isn't power, right. Knowledge is potential. Yeah. Action is power. Mm-hmm. And so how do we take this information in and actually put this into practice on the daily so that we can make effective habit changes going forward? And that's a huge part of this whole equation that I think is overlooked by people who are just putting out purely information. Right?
Absolutely.
That's great. How are you going to absorb that and actually go from theory to practice? Not to plug my own blog, but really that's how we live. I mean, the theory is fabulous and we need that, but the application is where you actually make a physical change in your well-being and your body.
No question about it. And that's true. I think probably more true than anything for emotional eaters, because right. They do know so much. We do know so much about health, and yet being able to follow through on what we know is the sticking point, and it is so frustrating to know what you're doing to your body. There's lots of people who don't know. They're very ignorant about health, but typically people who come to the Heal Your Hunger space have been trying to crack the code of their out of control eating for so long, and so the more health stuff they figure out, if they feel like they're going to get there, but if they're missing the emotional eating piece, they're not getting there. So I think that is, I love that theory of practice, because that's really what it's about, is being able to follow through on what you know. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Right. And then both of us have backgrounds in actually working with clients, and both of us know that it is never the food or the drug or the whatever it is. It's an underlying something that's triggering it, and that is the response. That is the method. That's the symptom. That is the method by which whatever emotional pain is being tamped down.
Amen.
So if you can get into that, and both of us working with clients, and when I was training people, I had like a 70% client base. It was female, and I was like, what? I come from a collegiate strength and conditioning background, and then came into the general population and was like, why am I attracting so many female clients? But that was it. I was able to unwittingly crack that code. No, it's not the workout. It's not the diet. They had all that information. Yeah. What it was they trusted me to dig in and find out what the underlying emotional trigger was. And once we fixed that emotional trigger, everything was taken care of. That's
so beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Food is just a symptom. Any dis-ease, right, is a symptom. So, and I love that your conference spans so many different topics. That sounds really juicy and yummy. And I absolutely love it. And when I attended your conference, it was so fascinating, the different speakers I got to listen to. So, can you talk about some, I mean, I know you're rescheduling people right now, but some of the people that you do have at the conference?
Right now, I can't.
You don't have confirmations from people, right?
We're in the process of trying to get everybody reconfirmed. We have literally had the schedule ready to post on Monday, and then this happened. So, you can't just assume that everybody can still.
No, yeah.
So,
well, in the past, you've had people like.
In the past, we've had Rob Wolf, Mark Sisson, Chris Kresser, JJ Virgin. I'm trying to go through my head. Nora Gagaudis. We were expecting Stephen Gundry this year. Dale Bredesen. Dr. David Perlmutter has been in the past. He was planning to come back. Dr. Tom O'Brien. Dr. Alan Christensen.
Dave
and big bloggers as well. People in the social space as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we had, lots of really big names like, of course, Dave Asprey and
you've also had, because you have so many people interested in health, you've had a lot of health coaches as well, and there are a lot of women there who are health coaches who attend your conference.
Yes,
right. And this is an emerging field, and both of us really feel like this is whoever cracks the code and is able to do this repeatedly, to be able to put this theory into practice on the regular, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. Mm-hmm. And so coaching compliance is like the huge thing. If we can crack that code, and because we have all the information, the information is out there. We know exactly how to be healthy. We know all of this. It's just trying to get person to person to person, client to client to client, to get them to practice compliance.
Yeah.
And everybody has a trigger. Everybody has some kind of an emotional tie that if you are able to identify that tie, then you can affect a positive change.
Yeah. And also, food is such, to me, it's the hardest addiction to overcome. And so, because you have to eat 3 times a day, and it's right there, and it's socially acceptable, and it's so damn yummy, and so, I think the more support, the better. And I know for myself with clients and potential clients, trying to help people get over the hump of realizing they need support. Like everybody's like really down on themselves. Like, I should be able to do this. What's wrong with me? I should be able to eat healthy. I should be able to stay away from the chips or the, Hershey's Kisses or whatever. And they beat the crap out of themselves for not being able to, but just, I always liken it to training, sports, sports stars. I mean, they have trainers, they have coaches. They don't seem to have any psychological issue with getting coached, and
food they don't, but it's amazing because even top level athletes have emotional binds with something. It might not be food.
Sure.
It's something we've worked.
And it can be food.
It can be food.
Hey, I think life is hard. I think everybody's using something. Let's just
Yes. Yes. I mean, coached a son through a heroin addiction,
Mm-hmm.
right? His addiction wasn't to food, it was to a substance. And that substance isn't so much a physical addiction as it is an emotional addiction and an environmental addiction.
Right.
No question about it.
Yeah.
So if you compare that to food, we are in a world, a culture that's just hyper palatable. Food is ubiquitous.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's really, the idea that we need help, I think, is kind of what I want to help people through. It's like, we need help. Like I need help, and I got no issues with it. Like I have coaches, I have people, I have mentors. Life is not easy, and I need help, and I have no ego about it. But I think getting people over that hump of realizing they can't do everything on their own in a vacuum, they've got to get support. And I think God made us that way, to need each other and to need that love that we can give each other. So
yeah, one of the things that we do, we have a group of people that we call our life team. And I think we are of the belief that everybody needs a life team. The people that support you through the processes, it's kind of like accountability, but it's a little bit different. And it's these are the people that you call at 3 a.m. in the morning when, everything's gone to hell and you need toilet paper. I mean, so this is a group of people that are always there when you need them, when it's a struggle, when it's your triggers are up and you need help. And so we definitely believe in that. We have our own life team.
And we lean on
them a lot. And so the thing is that, nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to ever get everything perfect. But what's really great is knowing that you don't have to be perfect, because you have people that can actually help you and that you can help them, because it all goes back in circles and we all need each other. And so that's one of the reasons why one of our 7 pillars is tribal health. You need to have that life team. Right. You need to have your community. And that's how we were made. We were designed for community and being tribal and being together and supporting each other. And, when I say tribal, I don't mean herd, because there's a big difference between the two. So, anyway.
Yeah, but we just operate better that way. It's like we learn. I mean, I feel like the more girlfriends I talk to, the smarter I am. Like, cause I hear their stories and their experiences. And I mean, my best resource is my mother. She's 83 and super healthy. And she's a social being. Like, she's total extrovert. She's always on the phone. And I'm like, if I have a problem, I'll talk to mom. She's got like 5 stories of friends who went through something or their kids went through something. And she knows kind of how to deal with stuff. So I just feel like when we're trying to, and I think more than ever right now, when we're getting all, social distancing, this is where the phone's going to get handier, and not just texting, but we have to literally make those phone calls and connect that way if we're not seeing people in person, especially.
Right. I totally see, the our ability to connect in that way has helped us really bolster and exponentially multiply our tribe that we are very, very connected to. So if you use it in the right way, it's a huge help. So I'm not a pessimist when it comes to social media or the fact that we're hyper connected.
Yeah.
Used in the right way, it's a huge benefit and a huge help. You just have to use it the right way.
Absolutely. How do you guys recommend? Because I know a lot of people listening, I know it's hard for them to depend on other people, again, because they're thinking they should be able to do things on their own. But I always hear this other thing too, and I think it comes from kind of low self-worth, is I don't want to be a bother. Like, people were saying to me, I know you're busy, I don't want to bother you. I'm like, you're not bothering me. Like, I want to connect, I want to talk, I want to help. So how did you must have had a time when you sort of were getting into this idea of depending more on your tribe, and how did you get over that kind of feeling like, oh, I'm being a bother?
Honestly, I have to say, and I'm going to kind of speak for Keith, but then he can negate it if that's not true. But I think I'm pretty much on. So Keith and I started working a lot in plant medicine. We've been working in plant medicines for the last 6 years now. And I think coming to terms with your humanity and letting go of the ego and really understanding that each human person is here for a reason and a purpose. And and the odds of you being here are so incredibly unbelievable that you cannot ever believe that you were not meant to be here. Because there's just, it's mind-boggling what everything that happened for you to actually be here and be alive. And then that doesn't even include the people that were born in a situation that maybe they're under duress, or the situation was dire and all of that, and that you're still here. That means there's a reason for that. And so the purpose is for people to figure out around what they're here for and everything. That tells me when I've gone through plant medicine journeys and really processed the fact that so when you give a gift, there's a gift in giving.
Amen.
And when you don't actually ask somebody else for help, you deny them the gift of giving.
Amen.
So when you start really thinking about things in those terms, I mean, it's one thing if you're like every little thing that goes wrong, you're constantly, but if it's really a true serious need that's on a really, profound level that you really need help, you will be giving the gift to someone else for them to be able to give to you and feel needed and wanted and have them having a purpose in helping you. So getting around that was probably a big deal for me, particularly was getting rid of that ego part and understanding that, for one thing, I can't do it all. No. And one of the things I just recently heard this, and it's like this thing, and I want to put it up all over my house because it is, so it's from the Course in Miracles. And the quote was, "The presence of fear is the sure sign that you're trying to operate in your own power." And that told me that I constantly think that it's my responsibility. I should be able to do this. But really, in all honesty, the gift is allowing everybody in your space to take part, have a purpose, have a reason, and be able to have the gift of giving and helping and supporting, because that makes every one of us feel useful.
And I can add just one other thing to add color to that. So one thing that I have struggled mightily with, and I have tried to overcome, is the fact that if you were to come to me, Tricia, and say, I'm here to help, I'm here to give you, I was not able to receive that in the past, because one of my hangups was I am not worthy of love or abundance unless I perform. Right. So I have not performed for you in whatever category, ergo I'm not deserving of your goodwill.
Right.
And this has been something that I have, this is a childhood imprint. This is all the, mommy issues from the past. But this is a groove in my subconscious that I'm having to rewrite, that I am deserving just because I am here. Like Michelle said, we are all, just think of it. We are animated, conscious conglomerates of freaking stardust. That is just amazing. Yes, we are all deserving of love and abundance and help from others.
Amen.
And if you just realize that and own it, and I'm saying that as someone who's still trying to feel that in his heart and soul. I know it logically, but I'm still trying to work through the actual, my body feels that. I do deserve it. But that is to say, we understand the struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is a struggle. And I think it's a lifelong struggle. I think it doesn't have to be a struggle, but it's a lifelong journey of coming into being who we're meant to be, right? Instead of negating the gifts that we've been given or downplaying things or feeling like we're being boastful if we live out loud and live as we're meant to live large, not physically large, but it's like, it's so powerful. And somebody told me early on in my own journey of healing, like you're a spiritual being, not a spiritual doing. And
Right.
yeah, and it was so powerful for me because I had the same belief. Like I had to deserve, like I had to make myself worthy of the space I was taking up. And it's like, no, like you're worthy, right? Like you were born, you are worthy right here and right now. And that's owning that is not an easy thing.
It's a self-shaming mechanism, and I think so many people are imprinted with that early on. And those things that you are imprinted with early on are the toughest things to change because they've been there. Those are stories that you've told yourself from your childhood.
Yes.
And those are tough
old
things.
programming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So true. So I love this conversation. It's really juicy. So talk to me about some of the other pillars that you have of Paleo Effects.
So, I mean, obviously we run the gamut of just about everything. And so obviously the most obvious pillar is physical health.
Mm-hmm.
But what we talk about at Paleo Effects is how all the 7 pillars are connected to each other. So all of them are dependent on the next one in order for them. So in order for you to be physically healthy, you have to be mentally healthy. In order to be mentally healthy, you have to be emotionally healthy.
Right.
In order to be emotionally healthy, you have to have relationship health.
Yep.
And then the spiritual health goes hand in hand with all of those, because if you don't feel like there's, and we're not telling you to believe anything.
Sure.
It's not about religion.
Or dogma or
Spirituality is
anything.
about the connectedness. Right. It's all about the connectedness and consciousness of humanity. It's about understanding you are part of something so far bigger than yourself, but you are one piece that is so integral and important to the rest of the whole. So that's, for us, spirituality is recognizing how important you are for all of us in everything, that we're all super connected. And then of course the financial health goes to your mental health, your emotional health, all of those things. And then usually that can affect your relational health, and then it can affect your physical health, because if we don't have some financial health, and the thing is it's not about the money. What it is about the energy around the money, the mindset around the money, and whether or not you are understanding and living in abundance, which is this. You may not have money in your bank account. That doesn't mean you're not rich. That doesn't mean that you're not abundant. It means the money's not in your account right now. And when you start thinking of finances in those terms and start relaxing into allowing the abundance to come to you, and that means living in gratitude for what you have currently. So and knowing that doesn't have to be the end, or that you shouldn't desire, or you shouldn't want more, or anything like that. The shoulds are something that that should actually be a word we're not allowed to use ever.
It's the only should we should have, right? Don't should anymore.
Say it's shitting all over yourself.
Right. So, those are the words that we want to, so when you think about finances along those terms, when you connect your finances more to your spiritual and your mental and your emotional health, it will trickle down to your physical health, because the relaxing and the not stressing and all of those things, and the allowing and the receiving and the gratitude in the moment, because if we have a choice every single second. The choice is, am I happy right now where I'm at? Or am I going to be upset for what I don't have? So I can choose to be happy right now and move through life happy and grateful for what I have currently, while working and striving for and being open to the receiving of the abundance of the world. And I know a lot of that sounds super woo-woo or whatever.
No, not to my people. I'm telling you, you're right. You're singing our tune. This is beautiful. And I think for the times we're in right now, it's more than ever an important message, because we have to. Fear is a runaway train. I got back from Costa Rica to this whole different world we're in right here in our country, and in the supermarkets and everything. And I just thought, when I focus on what's going on right now in my life, I've got health, I've got peace, I've got love, I've got fellowship and community, like ain't no problems right here, right now. And that's where we have to bring our minds back to. Otherwise, it's a runaway train.
Oh, it's totally a runaway train. But that's, it's all about the mindset, and it's really about making a choice in how you feel every single day, because fear is such a contraction in your body, and the fear and the stress response, they're not doing anything for you right now because you don't have a saber-toothed tiger bearing down on you. The problem is that we are caught like that, like we have a saber-toothed tiger after us all the time. And the relaxation and the allowance of being able to think through, okay, right now, there are things that I want and desire in my life. Guess what? They're not here yet.
Yep.
But I'm grateful for the fact that they will be here when the time is right. I trust and I allow and I will receive for that. And right now, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy being who I am. I know that this situation right now here is temporary. Everything's temporary.
Yeah.
And when we get so caught up in the, oh my gosh, this is the way things are going to be, and I'm so fearful, and that's where the contraction can cause so many health issues and so many health problems. And so, like I said, all the 7 pillars all, go on each other. And then if you do not have a tribe, if you are alone, if you are isolated, and if you are doing this to yourself because you think that you don't deserve, that is probably one of the biggest, most tragic things ever. Because if you are isolating yourself, if you are keeping now obviously quarantine is completely different. So let's that's totally different. That's not, but if you are emotionally and relationally and mentally isolating yourself from other humans and not having any connectedness, and you're not having any relationship, and you're saying, then you are 2 things. You are robbing yourself and you are robbing others. Because that we are here for a reason, and each one of us is a gift to at least one other person.
Amen. So much so. And I think what's really true too, back to the money thing you're talking about, and I love that that's part of your conference as well, is because, emotional eaters are abusing themselves with food, and money is a very easy way for us to abuse ourselves as well, either by overspending or like being bingers or anorexic with it. You know what I mean? It's like either way, we're abusing ourselves. And they're so closely tied, but the solution is the same, because money is a symptom too, right? Money, food, anything having to do with health, other disease. I mean, those are really ultimately symptoms of a deeper issue. And when you go deeper, it's going to have that ripple effect in every area of your life. So I just love that you guys are focusing on that stuff. It's so beautiful. And obviously, hopefully, by this conversation, people are going to really get curious about what's going on at Paleo FX. So how do they find you guys and register?
They can go to paleofx.com, and then across all social channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we are Paleo FX.
Yeah, and you're everywhere, so it's not going to be hard to find, but that's good to know. And for everybody who's tuning in, these are just beautiful souls, and you can tell they're doing it right. They're not just focusing on one aspect of health. They're digging in and covering all the bases so that we can truly live in our essence and our bliss, and as God really intended us to. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here. It's such a pleasure. Look forward to connecting with you again. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember, you can actually find this show recorded live in the Secret Sauce group on Facebook, but make sure that you go and be a part of that group so you get other live interviews that I do in the future. So signing off, and thank you all so much for all your love. And Michelle and Keith, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Tricia.
Yes, my pleasure.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.